What's going on everyone, Mike here, and in this video we're comparing the HTC One Mini and the Apple iPhone 5. There are many things setting these two apart, starting with the operating systems and ending with the price, but they are both fairly compact smartphones, so you might want to know how they fare one against the other. The iPhone is still the smaller handset here, no matter how you take it, and it's lighter too. However, the HTC One Mini bundles a larger screen, one that for me hits the perfect sweet spot. The Mini feels great in hand as well, thanks to its tempered back and rounded edges, as opposed to the sharp cut sides on the iPhone. However, I do find the HTC a bit too tall, and that's annoying since the HTC placed the power button on top of their phone and you'll have to struggle to access it when using the phone with only one hand. Apple went for a similar layout, but the iPhone is shorter and the button better emphasized from the frame, so you won't be bothered by that as much. That aside, it's worth mentioning that both these phones look astonishing and feel very sturdy. HTC went for a metal and plastic case, while Apple chose metal and glass for their unit. Picking one over the other is entirely up to you. I for one can only conclude that I like them both, despite being different. Looks aside, the two phones are snappy and capable of dealing with all your daily activities. Hardware-wise, they are close, with dual-core processors powering them. In benchmarks, the iPhone tends to outperform the Mini, but I for one don't care much about numbers. What I do care is everyday snappiness, and the next couple of seconds will show you what to expect from these two. Bottom point, the HTC tends to lag behind the iPhone in most cases, but not by a great amount. Of course, when comparing daily performances, we're more or less having Android and iOS side by side. The HTC runs Android 4.2.2 with Sense on top, while on the iPhone there's iOS 6 here. We're not getting in depth, I'm pretty sure you're already familiar with this version of iOS and all the Apple pre-bundled apps. HTC's Sense on the other hand is nothing like vanilla Android, as HTC heavily tweaked their interface. The UI is fast and responsive, but for me Sense feels unintuitive, probably because I'm mostly used to a standard Android experience. I'll tell you more about that in my HTC One Mini review. That aside, the two phones can handle well all the basic tasks, from browsing and reading books, to taking calls and chatting with your friends and multimedia activities. The larger screen on the Mini makes it more suitable for videos and even for gaming, although Android still has to catch up to iOS in terms of high-quality third-party apps, including games. What really sets this apart are the speakers. We have front-facing stereo speakers on the HTC One Mini, the so-called boom sound speakers with Beats audio support, while on the iPhone there's a single speaker placed behind the right puncture grill on the lower lip of the device. It doesn't sound bad and it's pretty punchy, but definitely the iPhone 5 is not a match for the HTC One Mini in terms of audio quality. The two are however on par when it comes to their screens. Do or dies on any top smartphone right now. Yes, the iPhone does pack a smaller 4-inch screen with a lower resolution, but both display very sharp content that you'll mostly appreciate when reading texts. Besides that, the two paint lively and natural looking colors, are bright enough even for outside use and offer great viewing angles. If you were to get in depth, I could say that the Retina screen on the iPhone is slightly brighter than the one on the HTC and displays deeper blacks as well. On the other hand, you can see that there's a bluish tint when watching it from severe angles, something that's not happening on the Mini. Bottom point though, both the iPhone and the One Mini pack awesome screens, and you'll be more than happy with either of them. With those out of the way, let's turn our attention towards the cameras on these two. The front-facing shooters can only take 720p recordings on both of these, and the results are fairly sharp, good enough for occasional video calls and chats. On the back though, HTC went for their 4 ultrapixel sensor we first saw on the larger one, while Apple sticks with a more standard 8-megapixel camera. What's so special about HTC's approach? Well, the sensor itself is larger and as a result it can capture more details in poor light. But it only outputs 4-megapixel images. That comes with pros and cons, as you'll see from the examples displayed here. On one side, the Mini performs admirably in low light, as advertised, but in fair conditions, the iPhone pushes sharper images with more details. When it comes to videos, the two are a lot closer, with the One Mini still having an edge over the iPhone in poor light. However, the Mini lacks the optical image stabilization that is bundled on the One, and that leads to rather shaken clips. Anyway, that's how I see things, but I'd really like to know which one do you think is the better performer here, so leave your comments below. All this aside, there are some other aspects setting these two apart. For instance, the Mini only comes with 16GB of storage, out of which about 10 are usable for your content, and there's no microSD card either. This one is missing from the iPhone as well, but the base 16GB version of this handset offers more space for your own stuff, and you can get 32 or 64GB models as well if you want to. Both offer good connectivity options, including LTE, but neither packs NFC. On the Mini, there's a standard microUSB port, with no support for USB host or MHL video output though. It's also worth mentioning that the Mini packs a notification LED included within the grille on top of the screen. It's tiny, but it's better than not having one at all, like on the iPhone. And then there's the battery life. Both handsets feature rather small, non-removable batteries. As a result, they both fail to impress when it comes to battery life expectations, although the iPhone 5 does outlast the Mini in most cases. Either way, with low to average use, they can easily last through the day. With medium to intense use though, you'll have to rely on some external bricks to keep the juice flowing. At the end of the day though, the iPhone 5 is almost twice more expensive than the HTC One Mini, off contract of course. With contracts, the gap is smaller, but no matter how you take it, the HTC does offer plenty for the money. The iPhone 5 has aces down its sleeve. It's slicker, lighter, faster, packs the overall superior camera and is backed up by the entire iOS ecosystem. But if you're okay with Android, and there are very few reasons why you shouldn't be, and want a good and rather compact handset, the Mini should definitely be on your list, right next to the Samsung Galaxy S4 Mini. But we'll talk more about this in some future clips. For now, it's time to wrap this up. Thank you for watching and feel free to hit the thumbs up button if you enjoyed the video, share it around wherever possible and of course, subscribe for my next updates. And as always, let me know in the comments down below what do you think about these phones and which one would you choose between them. I'll be around to reply and I'll catch you later.